Hey guys, so today I thought I would record my first horror video. It's on itch.io as a free browser game called Bedrot. All I know is it is a visual novel, and in the description it said absolutely no getting out of bed. So, let's see how this goes. Swearing, files, trash, and bread rotting. Fair enough. No, I don't need content warnings. Now, dear reader, let's begin. The clapping. Alright. How long has your life been like this? You haven't a clue. But given your situation, you don't care about that. Okay, I love this art style. Rise and shine, Alice Abbott. That name rings a bell. What time is it? Time really shouldn't matter to you, not when you're just gonna stay inside all day. Alright, I don't know how this is gonna go if I'm stuck inside. Like, there's, like, I would assume a door would be here, and there's no door. But, you know. Whatever, I'm just gonna do what I do best. Sit and watch TV. Gotten so bad that you can't bring yourself to get out of bed. In order to look around, you find yourself having to click on everything in the room. Okay, fair enough. The trash is piled up so much that almost covers the window. Well, I would take out the garbage if I didn't have to go outside. This kind of feels like an agoraphobia simulator. You're grateful for this. Grateful that you don't have to go out for food. Otherwise, you would have died long ago. Okay, Uber Eaten. Used to actually use this for studying. Now it just eats up energy you haven't paid for in weeks. How is it still? Been meaning to call someone to fix this. Alas, the stench of rotting wood is nothing for you. Not when you live with the files. The files? Okay. Can I click on the window? No. Crack. Used to care about that crack on the wall, but now it's just decoration. Okay. What's that? You haven't bothered to clean that up. Too much of a hassle when you already live in filth. Fair enough. So tired most of the time you can't even bring yourself to put the trash in here. It's you. Your sad hermit little self. You just had to add little to add insult to injury on that one. As if you didn't know that already. Yeah. It's in the box. Even though you've lived in this dorm for some time, you never finished unpacking the dorm, so we're like a college kid? Looks like it's gonna stay that way. Are we actually in college? Because if so, this is like grounds to get kicked out. Alright. You've lost your head without this lovely contraption. Wanna watch something? Fuck yeah. You switch the TV on. Just like every single day. People always tell you to be consistent. And here you are, consistently staying in bed and watching TV. Even though you do this every day, the TV's flickering light still burns your retinas. Okay. Maybe because you're sitting too close. I don't know. You switch through the channels. News, sports, questionable stuff, kids shows. What kind of questionable stuff? You settle on My 30-Day Wedding. Oh god. Yes, you know, that just about everything in that show is staged. But you like it. You like seeing these people be so petty towards each other. Seeing them beat the shit out of each other over silly things like soap reminds you of why you're even here. Now, some might think that I'm missing out on life, but I'm perfectly fine missing out on people. Even if My 30-Day Wedding is staged, you can't help but feel that there's some level of truth to the pettiness. Remember how when you actually attended class, some boy began trying to prank you? Well, that's just rude. And by prank, I don't mean silly things like dialing random numbers. I mean shit like trying to dump acid on you. That is not pranking. That is assault. It was all because I didn't want to work with him on a project. Maybe I came across too harshly when rejecting him. Massive part of you believes the world is a shitty place. But the idea that maybe it's your fault is tempting. Well, it's not. Sit back and think on some more. Bitch found dead. That's one way to put it, and why do you look so damn happy about that? At least if something's your fault, you can fix it. Switch to a news channel. You feel like watching something informative. News probably ain't the best place to go. Good evening, citizens of Libretto City. Evening? You're not surprised, more disappointed in yourself than anything. You used to wake up at the crack of dawn to get shit done. Now you wake up at the crack of dusk to lay and rot. You bring your attention back to the TV. Thoughts aren't good for you. Therapy. Today we bring you a grisly case, a murder. That totally didn't tell me that. Another one, just like every day. Yes, I know that you see this shit every day, but this one is so bad that we have to show you. You zone out a bit while the reporter talks about the crime scene. About how the victim was found under Cardinal River with half of her face burned off and her breast torn. Burned off. The dude's the murderer. The victim was named Emma Greenwood. Your ears perk up. You remember that she was one of your classmates back when you went to class. She was also one of the only people to check up on you. You're sure that she was a good person. She sure as hell didn't deserve to die in such a horrific way. Why is the world like this? Because people are shitty, Alice. People are shitty. How is it that you could do everything right and still have something horrible happen to you? You decide to sleep again. Just like every night, you don't dream. On one hand, if you don't dream, you can't remind yourself that this situation does suck. Plus, you don't have nightmares about how a stranger is going to bust in to strangle you. That is like paranoia nightmares. Those are like the worst nightmares to have. On the other hand, sleep is getting boring without dreams. Sleep just consists of your random thoughts bouncing off of each other. It's too much like when you're awake. That's called the need for therapy. Rise and shine. Again. Even though you got well over half a day of sleep, your eyes are still glued shut. Not to mention that the sunlight makes you want to clamp your eyes. You don't enjoy sunlight. You don't even go out to feel its warmth. It's just a nuisance to you, something that stops you from... Can't think of what stops you from doing. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Rotting away, that's what. You know, that question, what am I doing with my life, is way too relatable. It's in moments like these where you question everything. No, you didn't question it when trash began piling up in your room. Nor did you question it when people showed up at your dorm with bills, letters of expulsion, all that good shit. Now that sunlight is hitting you, you question it. Parts of you wants to go over to the window and cover it up with something. But you also don't want to see the dent you left in the bed from how long you've laid there. Oh shit, that's like weeks, months of just laying. Makes everything feel too real. You hide from the light under the wrinkled covers. You don't sleep under there. You lie awake. The sunlight barely penetrates the thin fabric, and it's better than your eyes being fried. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts under the covers. Nothing but the faint buzzing of flies around the garbage. You try to make out little conversations the flies might be having. Anything to distract you from your mind. We all try to do that. At least once in our lives, we all try to distract ourselves from thoughts, and, you know, it never ends well. For what feels like an eternity, the room is dark again. Alright. That's new. Was that there before? No, it wasn't. No, because the bed was all gray. The only red was like those. What's that? Prop yourself up again. Just another night of nothing. That's what I expect. Just like every single night since you caged yourself in here. The only difference is that now you're realizing how miserable it is. Okay, so what's that? Yeah, what's this? Can't discern what it is. Maybe it's a plant of some kind. Okay, but if you're not going outside, how do you have a plant? Is it under the bed? You don't know what it would be living off of. Maybe off the food scraps under your bed. Bro. Maybe off of the decaying wood. Okay, if this is a dorm and like the wood's decaying, that's a problem. No use in wondering about it though. No use in wondering about anything anymore. Anything now. You lay back down in bed, stomach completely empty. As the days go on and on, you feel like your head's becoming more empty. You can remember how when you were younger, the lives of you and your sister were filled with joy and whimsy. Again, I just love this style. This art style is amazing. Props to the artist. As much as you can get in Libretto City, at least. Okay, so this is a bad place. I mean, the way she reacted to the murder should have told me that. Yeah, your sister's off being productive, working in forensics of some kind. Forensics, like crime scene forensics? Heck, she's probably working on Emma Greenwood's case right as you rot. How would she feel if she saw me like this? Everyone in my family thinks I'm off getting some psychology degree. Ironic that Alice here is trying to get a psychology degree while having some mental issues. Y'all think I'm actually doing something with my life, when I'm just rotting. That's the best word for it. I used to be something, someone. Now I'm just some husk. Remember when Emma came to check up on you? She asked if anything had happened. You tried to pinpoint what happened. You're still trying, to be quite frank. Okay, so like, depression? Like stress-induced depression, maybe? Nah, I don't. I know very minimal about mental health, so like I know stress can bring on depression, and in college that can happen so easily. At least if something did happen to you, the state of your life would be justified, right? Maybe it wasn't a single bad thing that happened. Maybe it was just a bunch of smaller things piling up. Even though you've spent the better part of the day sleeping, you're too tired to think. You just want to rest. Or you just want rest. It's been long overdue. Okay, so we're sleeping but not resting, so like insomnia. When you wake up, the sun is blaring on you and your little plant friend. Ugh, why is there so much sunlight out there? Libretto City is usually all dark and gloomy. Why is it all bright now, all of a sudden? Of all times. Sometimes you like to think that it's sunny because you're not out there. Aggrandizing? I don't know that word. Fuck yeah. Funny? Hell yeah. At least it's funny in your mind. Seeing the sun out reminds me that everyone's out there doing stuff. At least in the night, people are doing what I do for the most part. Eating, watching TV, and sleeping. But I know that's not true when the sun is shining. You lay back down, again. You truly hate being reminded of what you could be doing instead of lying in bed all day. You know it's your fault that you're like this. You struggle to sleep through the day, lost in thought. I know some people out there feel the exact way I do, but it manifests so differently for people. Some people just turn to alcohol. Some turn to adrenaline hunting. Some throw themselves into their work and become even more productive. I think that any of those people are more productive than I am. Even the alcoholic and adrenaline junkie. Because at least they're putting themselves out into the world. Why do my feelings manifest in this way? Feelings manifest in all sorts of fun ways. Okay, we have an issue here. Night falls yet again, just like every single night. You know how insanity is defined? You really should, considering that you barely survived one semester of university. Hey, I felt that. No answer? Ah, shucks. Explains why you stopped attending class. Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's exactly what you're doing. The thing is that I know nothing's gonna change. No shit it isn't. I know that every single day is the same. But how different am I compared to other people then? Alright, good point. The way that you view regards to insanity is the same as most people. People go to university expecting to outshine their peers, even if they're reusing the same study habits from high school. People go to work every single day doing random stuff for an apathetic boss, expecting that out of all of the other employees, they'll be the ones to get rich. It's all the same to you, except for the fact that society doesn't consider what you do to be productive. You do miss blissful ignorance. You hate being able to see the systems for what they are. You hate how you can't just go along with it like everyone else. Oh, classic case of getting older and finding out how the world works. No, it is. It all is the same. The difference is that those people are happy, while I'm not. Aw, don't be such a Debbie Downer. Maybe you should watch some TV to return to your usual state of apathy. Okay, first off, we not gonna talk about this? This plant looks different from yesterday. Smells different too. Smells different? If I click that... Huh, that looks like that plant brought a little buddy. That's not a good thing. Oh, the light stopped flickering. Oh, I was so busy on the dialogue. The wall looks a tad bit moldier than usual. Okay, I should have been clicking around this whole time. Strange, it's off. Can't tell if there's leftover rice in the container or if it's just a bunch of maggots. Disgusting. Okay, yeah, that's the... Is that gonna be the same? You're surprised that no one's shown up at your door complaining about this. Fair. Okay, same thing. That new? You can barely smell the rotting trash from here. Mostly because it blends in with the rest of the odors. Okay, what if I click the bed? It's you! Okay, yeah, the same. Same thing. Yeah, she gets mad at that. Chair? Okay, click TV. Ah, looks like the TV's off. You don't remember turning it off. Guess that they finally cut the power. Explains why the lamp's off. This day was coming. And now your one source of entertainment is gone. All that keep me occupied now are my thoughts. Or sleep. Does it matter that the power's gone? Most of my time is spent sleeping and thinking anyways. White noise rings in your mind, your stomach grumbles with hollowness, and your eyes just don't want to stay open. Regardless of if you sleep for 3 or 18 hours, your eyes want to stay clamped shut in eternal slumber. Your eyes give in, and darkness is all you see. Your other senses are heightened, but even they feel dull. You know it smells slightly worse in here than usual. You're used to the stench of mold and rotting wood. But you again pick up the odor of decaying meat. The flies are gonna love that. Oh, good heavens. You wake up from another dreamless night. That's good. Nothing to remind you of what you could be missing out on. And it's night. You either slept for only a few hours or for an entire day. Probably gonna fall right back to sleep any minute. Now I want to rise this shit. Starting to wish that you'd stay asleep forever. What's this? It's close to blocking off the exit. So the door's here. Okay. It's not like it matters. I was never gonna leave in the first place. Quite the thought of despair here. But it's true. There's nothing out there for you. You're sure that no one in your family cares. You're sure that even if you finally did go out, you'd be miserable. Hell, the one person you remember being kind to you wound up dead. What does that mean? Does it mean that you have to resort to assholery if you want to live? The worst part of it all is that even after thinking about it, you don't know the root of your issues. Maybe it was a bunch of small things snowballing up to something massive, but you can't even figure out the smaller things. You fall back asleep. Ah, for a long, long time. And again, it's dreamless. You've come to realize that maybe you don't dream because your mind itself is a prison. It's like that I'm 13 and this is edgy type stuff. Oh. Oh. Okay. It smells like blood and guts are spread around the room. Oh. The scent of rot overpowers you. You can barely smell the rot. No, that's not... Okay, yeah. Click that. Okay. Can't make out anything in the darkness, but you're sure that maggots and larvae are festering in the takeout container. Can't even smell the rotting wood anymore. You just smell your room. Gone is the foul odor of garbage, replaced by just the scent of your room. Okay. Very useless TV. The exit's blocked. You're too late. The vines rot, guts. The substance stays wrapped around you. You don't even try to fight it. Oh! Oh, that sound. Oh, that sound. You want to scream, but you're too tired. The strange tentacles poke through you, stitching you straight to the bed. That sounds still making me, ugh. Also, very off topic of the game, but I am so sorry if you can hear my mouse clicking. I need to get a quiet mouse. You never intended to leave in the first place. Not for a long time, at least. But now that you're truly chained to the bed, you expect to regret it all. You don't. You had no dreams to live for. See, this is like the art style I want, like that sketchy, kind of dark, rough. Ooh, I love a game that's stylized like this. So your nightmares become your reality. Okay, I was... I just noticed her eyes are like rolling back or like looking up as she's sitting. End. Bed rot. Okay, so that wasn't really a horror game as much as I thought it would be. But that was a really, really interesting take on like depression, self-doubt, like self-blame and all that. Using the bed rot and like making a physical manifestation. And I'm guessing at the end she dies. Like either she dies or she just like fully gives up. But yeah, that, like, sure, I probably skipped a whole bunch of dialogue by accident. But that's interesting. That's a very interesting take on like mental health in a video game, in my opinion. But yeah, so that was Bed Rot. I'll put the link to the game, and if I can find the creators like page, I will definitely link them down below in the description. But yeah, thank you for watching.